Hello my dear students. So today I will start the second topic of the life process, that is respiration, and I hope you have finished your studies related to the nutrition topic. Okay. Now in the respiration, what exactly this word respiration means? So respiration, the process of obtaining biologically useful form of energy from the food molecule with the help of oxidation reduction reaction. Now what is this biologically useful form of energy? That is ATP. I think everybody know what is ATP. Adenosine triphosphate. That is energy currency. Now here there are two types of respiration. That is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Now what is this aerobic respiration? You can look here. They are given the differentiating point between these two. That is aerobic respiration. That is the respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen. And anaerobic one in the absence of oxygen. Second differentiating point is this, that aerobic respiration occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria. But in the case of anaerobic respiration, that takes place only in cytoplasm. The third one, the complete breakdown of the glucose takes place in the aerobic respiration. That is in the presence of oxygen. And incomplete breakdown of the glucose takes place in anaerobic respiration. The last one, that is the end product after the breaking down of the glucose in the aerobic respiration is carbon dioxide and water molecule. In the case of anaerobic, end product is carbon dioxide, ethanol or lactic acid also in some cases. And if I will see the complete, the most efficient respiration is the aerobic one, because that after complete oxidation, after complete breakdown of the glucose, aerobic respiration gives the 38 ATP molecules. But in the case of anaerobic respiration, only 2 ATP molecules are produced. So if we compare which one is more efficient, so that one is aerobic respiration is more efficient because it produces a larger amount of energy, that is 38 ATP molecules. Now, there are different pathways by which the glucose breaks down. That depends upon whether oxygen is present or not. So that's why first I explained that what are the main differentiating point. Now we will go through the different phases or the steps how the glucose break down. Depend upon the condition, presence of oxygen, absence of oxygen or lack of oxygen. Now here you can see the glucose, that is the stored food material, and that is converted into pyruvate. And this process from glucose to pyruvate that take place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now here glucose to pyruvate, in few reference book they have given one word that is called glycolysis. So this term is known as glycolysis. One more thing beta, glycolysis word is not given in your NCERT textbook. But for extra information I am telling you, when the glucose break down into the pyruvate in cytoplasm and that gives the energy also, that process is called the glycolysis. Fine. Now, this pyruvate further divides or further break down in different conditions. The first one we will see then when the oxygen is absent. So, in the absence of oxygen, here example we can say that yeast. So, yeast, when pyruvate in the absence of oxygen, example yeast, it will produce what? Ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Fine. Now, ethanol, carbon dioxide, energy in the absence of oxygen. So, energy, how many molecules? Can you tell me? Yes, 2 ATP molecules in this case. Now, the second one, different pathway. When pyruvate under the lack of oxygen. This is the case whenever you do a heavy workout. Something you feel your muscles become stiff. So, that is because of the deposition of the lactic acid. So that case means lack of oxygen in the muscle cells. So what happened? The end product is lactic acid and energy. Here also molecules of energies are less as compared to the aerobic one. Now the third one and the last one, which is more efficient, that pyruvate break down into in the presence of oxygen, and this one takes place in mitochondria. I think everybody know what is mitochondria. Mitochondria is powerhouse of the cell. That's why now energy here breakdown, it gives the end product carbon dioxide, water and energy. Energy how much? 38 ATP molecule. So that's why mitochondria large amount of energy is produced, and that we can use for our work, for our exercise, for our daily routine. Now here, glucose to pyruvate in the cytoplasm, fine, it produces the energy also, and different pathways. So you can see this one is in the absence of oxygen, in the lack of oxygen, in the presence of oxygen, and the largest amount of energy is here 38 ATP molecules. Now here in your textbook you can see that under the pyruvate they have written 3 carbon molecule. Under the ethanol they have written 2 carbon molecule. Under lactic acid they have written 3 carbon molecule. Fine. So for bio purpose that is not very important, but still I gave here few formulas. See, pyruvate, that is CH3COCOOH. So if you will count, that is a 3 carbon. So that's why they said the 3 carbon molecule. Ethanol, C2H5OH, that is 2 carbon molecule. And lactic acid is C3H6O3, that is 3 carbon molecule. Fine. So this is a simple little bit extra, but this one is not required for the bio, that is useful in the chemistry. For bio purpose, only this pathway, this figure is very important and differentiating point between aerobic and anaerobic. Now in board exam, how they ask, most of the alternate or after 2-3 years they ask this question, what are the different pathways by which glucose break down and what are the end products? Sometimes this one is for 3 marks. Sometimes they ask for 1 or 2 marks, how the glucose break down in the presence of oxygen. So at that time you have no need to draw the full figure. What you will write? Glucose to pyruvate or energy. Then it gives the carbon dioxide, water and this energy in the mitochondria, presence of oxygen. So sometimes they ask individual or sometimes they ask, right, all the pathways, possible pathways for the breakdown of glucose. So this is all about the respiration. Very important. And the starting part, differentiating. Differentiating point usually they ask for 2 marks. So there you have to write 4 points. I have given here 4 here and 1 point is here. Okay. So now respiration in plants. Here plants also respire or they exchange the gases through the stomata. By which process? That is by diffusion. Now what is diffusion? I think everybody know what is diffusion. That is movement from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So here the plants respire through stomata by process diffusion. Now here the direction of the diffusion depend upon the environmental condition and the requirement of the plant. Means in which way the gases will exchange. Now here at the night time, what happen actually? At night time when no photosynthesis occur, so at that time CO2, carbon dioxide elimination is the major activity. Means plants release carbon dioxide. Fine. Now during the daytime, so whatever the CO2 is generated during the respiration, is used up for the photosynthesis process, and hence this time means during daytime oxygen release is the major activity. So that is depend upon the environmental condition and depend upon the requirement of the plant. The exchange of gases will take place. So during the night time carbon dioxide elimination is a major activity and during daytime oxygen release is the major activity. Now there are different modes of gaseous exchange in plants. Now what is this modes means? By which means the exchange of gases takes place in the plants. So there are 3 modes. In the case of small plant, the exchange of gases takes place by the simple diffusion process. Fine. In the case of large flowering plants, that is through the stomata and through root hairs. A small hairs, very minute hairs present on the root surface and they take parts in the exchange of gases. So that is in the case of large flowering plant. Now in the case of woody stems, means that having the bark strong. Now here the exchange of gases takes place with the help of lenticels. Now what is this lenticels? Bark cell, they are very hard. So they rupture like this and the internal cells are in a contact with the outer environment. So here they can easily exchange the gases. So that is called the lenticels. So that is the woody stem, the communication with the environment, exchange of gases with the environment takes place by these openings, and these openings are called lenticels. So these are the three simple main modes by which the plants exchange the gases. Now, what happened here? Respiratory organ, as we have discussed here, respiration in the plant with the help of the stomata by the process diffusion. So I will discuss here, I will give few examples in other organisms. What are the main respiratory organ? See, respiratory organ examples, earthworm. How earthworm respire? That is through the moist skin. Now fishes and the prawn, they through with the help of the gills. Insects, cockroach, that is having the spiracles on the body, and through that they exchange the gases. In the case of birds, human, dog, they use the lungs. As we have the lungs, so with the help of the lungs they exchange the gases. They do the respiration process. Okay, now after the plants, now come to the respiration in aquatic organism. As I just now gave the example, fish and prawns, that is with the help of the gills. Okay, now here respiration in aquatic organism. What happened? The terrestrial organism, they use the free oxygen which is present in the environment for the respiration purpose. But in the case of the aquatic organism, what they do, they have to take the oxygen which is dissolved in the water, and that is very less amount as compared to the terrestrial one, open one. So what happened here? The aquatic organism, their breathing rate is very fast, because they have to take large amount of oxygen, that is a dissolved oxygen from the water, where the comparative, if we compare with the terrestrial one, the amount of oxygen is less. You see, amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air, and the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than that seen in the terrestrial organism. I think everybody has seen the fishes, how they quickly open and their mouth like this. So why? Because the breathing rate is very fast. I think everybody has enjoyed this one when we see the fishes, all those things, isn't it? Now here, how they exchange the gases. See, fishes takes in water through mouth and forcefully they pass through the gills. And when they pass through the gills, at the same moment, they absorb, means the fishes, they absorb the dissolved oxygen from the water and they used up, and the rest of the water comes out from the body. So through the mouth enter, pass it through the gills, at that time they absorb the dissolved oxygen for the respiration purpose. So this is all about the respiration in plant, respiration in aquatic organism. So here, up to here, that what I have finished, that is the first in the nutrition and then the respiration process. Respiration, 3 breakdown pathways, then in plant and then in aquatic organism. Here I want to say one thing, that in the board exam, last to last year, I think they have asked that why the breathing rate is faster in the aquatic organism. So this is the answer, because they have to take dissolve oxygen from the water which is in a low amount, less amount as compared to the terrestrial one. So in this way they ask, sometimes they ask what is the main major activity in the case of plant during the daytime, during the night time, so that you have to write, because during the night time no photosynthesis, CO2 release. During the daytime photosynthesis takes place, so oxygen release is a major activity. Okay.